We are rolling.
Yep.
Episode 2.
Behind the lens.
Art shop. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. So Christmas has been and gone.
Yeah.
New Year's is
But
in 2
you
days.
say that like we haven't just seen each other over Christmas.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
we're talking about it, right?
Merry Christmas to everyone that's watching.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, so Christmas then. How was your Christmas?
It was the same as yours. It was good.
How did you find it?
It was good. It was a lot of back and forth from like places to people's houses. Like I'm very grateful for that, but for me it just gets a lot. But overall it was good. Busy but good. Yeah, like quite glad it sort of died down a bit and get to do our own thing. But I guess that's what the holidays are about, right? Just spending time with the people that you don't really get to see. Yeah, what about you?
Yeah. I think in episode 1 I was talking about how tired I was. It's always, for the last 3 years, like Christmas time has just been so stressful because like I want to enjoy it with family, we've got presents to buy, we've got all of that, and then on top of that we've got so much editing to do, wrapping it up for the year. And like Jay mentioned, like we're literally, our Christmas, which I don't mind, but like Christmas for us isn't about us. Like it's about going to so many different houses. All my family live in the Midlands, and then now that we're married, we have to make like just so many more houses to see. We'll meet a new family as well, so I don't mind it at all. But just to give you context, Christmas, like for 4 nights, we weren't in our own house. Which was just so much fun. But in the back of my mind, I just have this guilt that I should be working, or like this person's going to want this for Christmas, and it was a lot. So every house we went to, I took my laptop and my hard drives with the intention of, oh, you know what, like if I sneak upstairs a little bit earlier, then I can like do some editing, or you know, if everyone goes to bed a bit early, I can do some editing, get up a bit earlier. And so that was just running in my mind. So I was present for everything, but back of my mind I was like, I should be doing some work. So that was a bit frustrating, but I'm glad that it didn't work out like that and I didn't have any time to work and I could fully enjoy it with the friends and family. But that's one thing I'm just done with. I'm not doing that again for another December, like be stressing about work when it's such a festive time and I really want to enjoy it. So I've done it for 3 years. From what I remember, the last 3 Decembers have been so chaotic, and I was like, no, this year, we're coming up, 2024, we're taking on less towards the end of the year so we can just fully enjoy it, because now our families have just got bigger and there's more people to see, and I want to spend longer with them rather than thinking like, okay, like we're going to go home after like one day, when like we could just maximise that time. Nothing beats family, like it's just the best time. But yeah, other than that, Christmas is done. I've just got dust from my shoes. And then New Year's around the corner. I think we spoke about our New Year's resolutions and stuff like that in our first episode. We're not really big on New Year's, are we? So we're not going to be celebrating. We'll probably be asleep at 12.
Yeah. New Year's, okay, our last New Year's, what did we do?
So Jay's dream has always been to go to America.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough, I've been twice before. But I think the reason you love America so much is you've been brought up on a lot of American films, American music. So you have that kind of connection. So knowing that's been his dream, it's always been my dream to be able to take him. So for his Christmas present, I told him we were going to New Year's for New York, which was just such an epic thing to just say, and I'm glad we got to do it, because there is no way I'm doing it again. But what was your experience like in New York?
New York was sick. Like the Sharon just said, it's always been my dream to go to America. New York especially, just because like hip hop is like known to come from New York, the food, the hustle and bustle. It's like London, but times 10. But yeah, sick. Went down there for New Year's Eve, which was very, very busy. But that was the only like downside to it. It was just too busy. So like, for example, on New Year's Eve, when our intention was to see the ball drop. It's quite a common thing, but people started to queue up from like 9 a.m. And the barriers were all up. It was just so chaotic. I don't like crowds. I don't like too many people around me. It starts making me feel like very anxious. So I lasted about, 10, 15 minutes in that queue.
I think it's a little bit longer. Yeah, you did well, because I know what Jay's like, so I was just like looking straight, like, just don't look at Jay. As soon as you look at him, he's going to say we're going home. And then, but to be fair, I called it first. Did I call it first?
No. Do you know what it is? Do you know what the trigger was? It was like some guy was rolling through with a bicycle. It was like a big, massive crowd, and Americans were just so loud in general. And he was trying to get through with a bike. And I just felt so many people squash me, and like just hearing the American accent, just them not kicking off. It was just like, nah, too much.
Yeah, there was a lot of fights as well, wasn't there?
It wasn't so much fights. It was
punching. But someone was just throwing punches. It was another guy.
I didn't see that. And like the NYPD, they were just whack. There was no like, what's the word? A system in place. Like they had no idea what they were doing, and I was like, yo, I don't feel safe here. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, because I thought I called it, because I was like, yeah, we're going to do this. But my body started to feel weird, and it just gave me really bad flashback to a concert I went to where I was like pretty much at the front, and then I got through it. Then as I left the crowd, my body just started to just go crazy from being crushed for that long. So as soon as I felt that feeling coming back, I just looked and we were just like, yeah, let's go. But then our friends who were there firmed it. 17 hours, they firmed it. And
they may or may not have worn nappies. So I don't know,
they may not have been talking to each other during those 17 hours, but they're really glad they got through it. But then, what did we do?
Well, we decided to roll down to Brooklyn Bridge. It was just starting to rain a lot. So we were like, yeah, let's just get out of here, let's just go chill. No, do you know what? I think we got a cab down to, from like Brooklyn area, Brooklyn Bridge, back down to our hotel, and then the taxi driver was a Sikh. He was like Sikh, and then when you trying to ask him where the closest Gurdwara was, just to make conversation, he weren't.
It's always good to know. Like, is this a thing? Every time we go somewhere, I want to know where the closest Gurdwara is. We haven't actually gone to one abroad though, have we? Like, it's always just so far out.
But anyway, we got back to the hotel. Bearing in mind, our hotel was literally like 5 minutes from Times Square. But we just got like a massive pizza, went up to our hotel and literally watched the ball drop on the TV, even though it was happening like 5 minutes down the road. And that's how we spent our last New Year's. Let us know what you're gonna do this New Year's.
Or if you've been to New York and you made it through to the ball drop, how many hours? Because it was also the first time they were doing it since COVID. So for all the locals as well, that was such a big thing. And that's why like it was even more busier. I don't know who we thought we were, like attempting it, but that was an experience in itself. But I think this New Year we're just gonna.
I'm gonna chill. If you're going out, you're mad, you're nuts.
Well, have you ever done London for New Year's?
I don't know, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I've never done London. I think I've always just watched it. Every year, up until like the last 4 years, we've gone to the Gurdwara. But even that, like, you can't get a floor space now. Like, it's just so busy. So maybe we'll go Gurdwara during the day, and then other than that, I think we'll just be at home talking about the business.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's that. And then, I guess since our last episode, been quite busy with bookings, even in that short period. I've been so busy with baby and co. I've had 4 newborn shoots and 3 maternity, which has just been so nice. It's just interesting how everything comes in waves. I have my own little wedding season, then it's like maternity season, and then newborn. So I've been busy with that, and I do feel like I have neglected that page a bit because I don't really show how busy I am with the newborn. But that's really nice that even without posting, people are aware that we do that, which is wicked. And then we've actually we've invested in a lot of things recently. First being a new camera that allows us to do virtual tours, floor plans and stills. And I've actually, because now that Jay's joined, instead of me just learning everything and then teaching him, it's been really nice to learn things together. But this is pretty much just your thing now. Like, I'm just like, you deal with that. And that's your own little thing. So do you want to talk about the system and how it works?
Yeah, so it's such a sick system. essentially, what we're able to do now is go into a commercial office, a house, any sort of building really, set up the camera, get a virtual tour. It takes us about, depending on how big the space is, it will take us about 20-25 minutes to go through the space systematically. And what we're able to walk away with is virtual tours. So people can be using that for any form of advertisement. So if you're looking to sell a house, you can definitely push that on your platforms. And it's also quite cool. It's like I guess estate agents probably know better that it's another form of sort of enticing customers and clients if they're able to actually take a tour without actually leaving the house. And I guess it sort of reels in more committed buyers, because obviously if people do the virtual tour, they get a very good idea of the property, and if they still come and do a in-person tour, you know they're serious. And also it's like for advertising, so like gyms, office spaces, it will just be sick. People can actually view what they're buying and probably even spend the money without even coming down into the facility. It just makes things a lot more seamless, a lot more convenient, and that's such a big thing. Convenience is key. Like I would pay well over like a reasonable amount just for convenience, and that's what the camera allows you to do. And not only virtual tours, stills, camera is amazing, and also it allows you to create floor plans. So through the virtual tour, we're able to capture measurements of the surface area in meters squared or whatever you want to use, square foot, and actually give an accurate version just to top it off, which is always handy to have. So like, for example, if you're looking at a space and you want to know exactly what the surface area is, exactly where the walls are, entrances, what room you have to play around with, then it's spot on. And it's everything that businesses, houses sort of need to present to buyers and people renting spaces. And our system is sick, it's fast, seamless, able to do things like blur out any sort of confidential things in the building, faces. It's quick, it's high quality, it's accurate, and it's a one-stop shop. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, definitely. I think you've summed that up really, really well. And looking forward to, because I think it's an option that a lot of people don't realise they need. Yeah. And I think just as the point you mentioned, like when we talk to, like say, restaurants and gyms, and like we'll just tell them our personal experience. Like we've gone to places where we know we would have booked like straight off the website had we seen a virtual tour. Yeah. And they're like, oh, we didn't think of it. And I think maybe some people think it could just be for real estate and that's where it stops, but they don't realise the potential it has for other things. So I'm really excited to be pushing that. And also, just a quick note, it would be so ideal for wedding venues to have this in place, because the amount of so like weddings these days are just getting grander and grander. Often you're going to see people with wanting like CAD drawings of the space, especially for the DJ, the AV, the flooring, decor people. Just in general, if you have a up-to-date floor plan of the entire venue, virtual tour that you can just provide to these suppliers, it makes your life a lot more easier, because they have everything that they need through the system in place, right? So you're able to provide them with a virtual tour, measurements, floor plans, surface area, where the walls start, stop, entrances, and that's all they need. So having that as a wedding venue or an event venue, it will just save you so much time, and it's just so convenient to have. Yeah, because you can, like, especially for like the empty venue, so when it's just such a good investment from them on their side, because they've just got to book us once, and that is not going to change unless they've extended their building, then we pop in again. Literally
not even an hour we need to spend with them, then they've got that on record, and all they've got to do is give it out. And then even for decor companies, when just before, like once everything's done, guests are about to enter, if we just come in without a camera, that will just be such a game changer. Just to show people like this is what it looks like, especially when you get the grand, like we've been to venues recently, the O2, over 1,000 people. How sick would that look as a virtual tour, like to really feel like the depth of that venue, and seeing a venue as a blank canvas versus like all dolled up, it would just be so next level. So
that's our new investment.
So that's one of our new investments. Our second investment, our home, little home.
Oh yeah, sick. We got our own office space.
God, why do that?
We just leased an office.
Better from you.
We just leased our own office. So I'll be the new Michael Scott. And this is
you're Dwight.
This is Dwight.
No, you're Stanley, and you know it. You know it. I'm oh my God, what's his name?
You're Dwight.
No, I'm not. What's the one that annoys him? Why can't I think of his name?
Jim.
I'm Jim. I'm Jim. You're Stanley. So we're recruiting everybody else. So you know, we need a Pam, we need a Dwight.
So tune in for our own spin-off for that. But no, anyway, we just signed for a office space that would just be sick. Great for meetings, great for just general work, day-to-day operations, a space for Shara to do our editing, and just a HQ for ArcShop.
So just to rewind, it started off with me on a laptop desk. That was when I was at home, and then bought a little pop-up desk, and then got a screen, and then but the desk wasn't big enough for the screen, so Jay kindly brought me a screen because I was banging on about how much I really needed a curved screen for my editing. And then because the desk was so small and couldn't hold it, it actually fell and then hit onto my laptop, and now it's got a massive like crack in it, and yes, that's great. And then after that, it just got too much for me working at home, where there was just no boundary. There was no like, I would get up, brush my teeth, come down, and I was just editing and working till literally it got dark at night. So I was just like, okay, enough's enough. Looked for some co-working space where I was hot desking in the same place where we are now. And it was great because it was just so nice, that buzz of people around you. And you meet other small businesses. It's just such a friendly environment where they've got a kitchen, like just the perfect space. And it's not far from our home at all. And then obviously when Jay joined, I was like, okay, cool, hot desking is great, but we need to be able to like see each other and be able to talk to each other without disturbing other people. So then they actually had desks to the side where it's closed off and you can rent that. So that's where we are now, and we move in on Monday. Can't wait. Got a new screen. Promising we won't break it, but our desk is actually big enough for that now. So got new screens. We're just going to slowly just sort out the chairs and the desk, and then I'm sure I'm going to persuade you that we need ArcShop everywhere on the walls, and I'm sure you'll have your DJ decks in there. And then make it our own little home. It's just nice, to like invite clients to have proper meetings. Give them the option of coming to us as well as us going to them.
Just a creative space.
So recently I've had a lot of inquiries about businesses who want help with rebranding, which is really flattering. Obviously, they've mentioned that they've seen ours and would like to do something for their business to kind of revamp and just give them that boost again. However, when I do speak to these people and I'm like, okay, so what are you changing in your business? And they're like, oh, our logo. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you're redesigning. Or to say like their colour palette of their thing. So I thought it would be really good to talk about redesign versus rebrand. Because with a rebrand, it is a lot of work. It involves a lot of changes, whereas a redesign still has an impact, but not as much work. So I thought if we just define exactly what that means and what changes we made, just to give people an idea. So what is a redesign?
In my opinion, or I think generally, a redesign essentially is you're changing the aesthetics of the brand. So it could be a logo, a website layout, anything that's just redesigning. So you're just changing the appearance of something. Whereas a rebrand is you're pulling the business open, you're restructuring, implementing new systems, throwing out old systems. You're also implementing, redesigning aspects. So you're like, could be changing the logo, layouts, but a rebrand is more of the internal structure, operations, your mission, your general ethics, your ethos, and I think your overarching strategy to what you want to accomplish is what I think a rebrand is compared to a redesign. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. And for us, everything has changed in comparison to Shaz Media. For example, if you talk about just the forms of communication and how we do things like that, before, Instagram was everything. I was just so comfortable with Instagram, where that was my portfolio, it was my form of like booking system, people DMing me, just communication, everything was on Instagram. Whereas now we've changed how that happens. One, because I cannot keep up with DMs, and also it's not a seamless process for the client as well. Like if I'm not keeping up with DMs, that's getting skipped, and then their inquiry might get lost. So the forms of communication that we have right now, we have our website, which is our main hub of inquiries. So there's a clear system on there how people can inquire. They can check our availability. So much easier. That inquiry will fall to our emails. Emails is the best form of communication for us. If you need to get hold of us, email is the one. We always are on our laptops, and that is the first thing we see and check every morning. So that's email, best way. Then after that, we have what I would call our shop windows, which is our Instagram. Instagram is just our shop window. It's our portfolio. It showcases work that we've recently done, gives people updates. Alongside that is a professional form, which is our LinkedIn, which again does the same thing, but more of the corporate side and a little bit more of a behind the scenes of what we're getting up to. And then now, of course, we've got our YouTube, which is purely for people who want to see long form content, that want to see the behind the scenes, get to know what it's like being business owners. And then eventually, as we've spoken about before, I want to do at least 5 before we start looking to more of a structure with our YouTube. Thought we'll just be more run free with it, and then we can look into the analytics of it. So we changed form of communications. We've changed the business structure. So there's a clear split now between operations and creative. So Jay handles more of the operations, websites.
So I'll be handling more of the operations and sort of longevity. So looking at sort of, for example, Q2, Q3, Q4, as we're coming to the end of Q4 here. So I'll be planning what we're going to be doing, say for example, March onwards, and forward planning, implementing. So like Gashara just said, we've switched the system in terms of Instagram being the main form of communication between her clients and whatnot. So I had this conversation with Gashara because I like planning, I like looking long term. So everything that I do is more of a long term thing. So like the next 2-3 years, how I see things panning out. And my trust in Instagram is very low in terms of, I mean, it's sick in terms of, obviously people have changed their lives and it's a great form of getting content out there. But as ArcShop grows, we don't want to be reliant on a specific form of sort of social media, for example, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We want ArcShop to stand on its own. So at the moment I'm exploring I'm exploring and implementing internal systems. So building from the ground up, ArcShop own systems, be sort of client lifecycle systems, scheduling systems. I want everything to be internal instead of having to rely on external factors like Instagram. We have to conform to the algorithm, or we have to whatever. I don't know how like LinkedIn or YouTube, like they're good short-term strategies in terms of developing an audience, but as time goes on, I want Archshot to stand on its own, and the reason why this is a long-term plan is it's going to take a long time to develop these systems and have them all in-house. But once they're solidified, it's literally you're winning. So it's a long-term thought. It's going to take a long time, and like Nipsey says, it's all money in. Like everything we're doing is in-house. Like we don't want to outsource anything. We want Archshot to stand on its own and to stay 10 toes down. Like we're standing on our own. Like yeah, it's going to be a longer journey and harder and an uphill struggle. But at the end of it, no one can shut us down. No one can mess with our audience. No one can. It's us all in house, and that's what I love about Archshot. I don't want to be relying on Instagram. I don't want to be relying on Facebook, YouTube. I want people to hear Archshot and know that its foundations are solid and will be for the next 50, 100, 150 years.
Okay, cool. So I feel like we went on a bit of a tangent as well there.
Yeah.
So I guess we've kind of discussed the rebrand, what we've done for it. So yeah, if people do want to look into doing something similar, just define exactly if it's going to be a rebrand or redesign. Like I mentioned, both are really significant and such a good milestone for your business. But it doesn't need to be all guns blazing. If you do want to start off with a redesign, it's so impactful. Like I've helped 3 businesses since our rebrand, help them redesign, and it's just given them like a fresh look, and they feel so much more proud, you know, walking with the name and the logo and the colours. So yeah, so I thought that was good to define. So we spoke about what we've done, what we've got coming. Less business, should go a bit more light-hearted. Thank you so much for the feedback as well on episode 1. Really, really kind. As soon as we kind of post it out there, Jay did mention like, oh, should we, let our family and friends know it's out there? And one thing that I don't like to do is that, because I like to see the authentic audience and who actually is interested. And it's not a bad thing. Like if our friends and family don't watch things, I'm not even offended, because at the end of the day, like it is a bit of a niche what we do, and not everyone's interested. So it was really nice to see like who did watch it and the feedback they were saying, and everyone did like to get to know you a bit better and quite like the fire questions. So just going off some of the questions people were asking, people wanted to know where we both come from. So if we go back, Jay and I both have one parent who was born in the UK and one parent who was born in India. I am born and bred in Gravesend and proud. Although I don't know any different now, Gravesend is just the best place for me to start my business. The people have been absolutely fantastic, and even now. So Gravesend, born and bred. Yourself?
So I was born in a place called Stevenage, just outside of London. I guess famously known as the same place as Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton's from Stevenage. I lived there until I was 17, 18. Moved to London, South East London. And then, I've just moved all around London since then. And now, since marrying Sharon, I am now based in Kent. That's it.
Yep, cool. And a lot of people assume we've either met through photography or videography, or we met at an event.
No.
We didn't. So they assume that's your background, photography and videography. So do you want to talk about the jobs you've had, / the jobs you've been sacked from in the past, and how you are now director of Archshot?
Wow. Okay. So
let's talk about our first jobs. Let's both talk about our first job. So your first ever paid job?
Was Tesco's. I worked at Tesco's, I think, a week after I turned 16, and I held that job for 2 years. Checkouts, that was my thing. It was cool. Checkouts was cool. Where else did I work? That was it. I was on the checkout, so I might have scanned your bread or something. So,
my first job was at Londis, and so I am the youngest of 3, and my brother was just starting his first job, and that was at Londis. And he was just leaving actually, And then my sister was about to start, and I was just so jealous. Like, I've always just wanted to work, and I was just so jealous. And I was like, please, 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 can I work? Can I work? So I think I was just working for free, but I loved it, like stacking shelves, and I was just like, yes, like I'm in the working world. So I've always just loved to work. Strong work ethic from 11, and I had a paper round alongside that. So I was just running around doing paper rounds, and it was the one where it wasn't the morning one. It was the one would have to post like in the evening. So Wednesday, Thursday and Friday we'll be doing paper rounds, and it was like it was over those 3 days because there was so many rows we were doing.
Yeah.
It was when we put the leaflets in, so we had to put like 5 leaflets per paper, and our hands were just black after from carrying it. And I would always be stupid and wear like a white t-shirt or a jumper. So like, but my sister would have the bag. She'd only get given one bag, so my sister would take the bag, and we had a bag and a trolley. So they would have those, and then obviously being the youngest, I had to carry them, so my arm would just be dead, and then it would just be like full of that black ink. So yeah, paper round and Londis was my first job. I absolutely loved them. Like the paper round kept me so fit, and Londis was just such a good insight in people skills, because I was really shy growing up, so that was like a good just stop living in people's shadows. And then after that, I went to Sainsbury's, but it was a similar thing, right? Because I don't know if a lot of Indian families do this, but we were the biggest family in that Sainsbury's, 4 of us. And then your sister obviously was there before you as well, wasn't it? So it's like quite a family thing to follow in. So yeah, I guess all rivalries at that point.
Yeah.
We were Sainsbury's, you were Tesco. Then you went Sainsbury's as well, didn't you? When did you go Sainsbury's?
That was afterwards. That's one of many jobs I've had. So the Tesco was my first job, and then I worked as a waiter. I was a waiter all over London. I worked for an agency. So shout out Connie. Connie sort of clued me up about an agency. And essentially I worked all over London. So like it was casual work. So like you'd pick and choose your shifts. That was interesting. That was mad. So I'd work in like the places like the O2. I'd work in like fancy restaurants like the Savoy. What else? The Athenaeum down in just off Green Park Station. Bloomberg. I've done some like Freemason dinners where I've had to it was nuts. Done like bar work up in the O2 as well. At Wembley Stadium I've done. So I was all over the place, just like muddling through, just making it up as I went along.
But there's been a few times where we've gone to bookings and you're like, oh, I used to work here.
Yeah.
So, and you just look at the staff and like, I could never.
I think as I've been in that situation, I know what it's like to be a waiter at these places, or like serve drinks, and to be like front of house staff at these places. It's just like so long. Like I remember when I was working at the Savoy, I done I think my shift was only meant to be like 8 hours. I'd done like 13 hours. Just before my birthday? No, it wasn't just before my birthday. But it was like a 13-hour shift. It was like so dark, like it was mad. Like imagine this, I was like 18, working at the Savoy, got no idea what I'm doing in my life really. And it was like some Armani charity thing. And I'll always remember this. This one guy, he's just such a waste man. Because obviously I didn't know anything about bread plates and stuff like that. And I put the bread down on like his main plate, not on his bread plate. And he went to his friend next to him, just typical like middle class Donnies, and they were like, oh, why didn't you put the bread on my bread plate, not on my... And I was just like, shut up. Like, I've got no idea what's going on here. It's just like little things like that. It's like, it will always stay with you. And then getting paid like, what was I on, like, not even £7 an hour. And it was just like...
But what was the story, and did you or did you not get sacked on this job?
I got banned from working at a hotel.
Don't name the hotel in case they see this.
I've already named it, I don't really care. It was the Athenaeum off of, if you go out of Green Park Station and you hit a right and just keep going down, you'll see it. And I was so gassed because I heard a track from Young Jeezy, and Young Jeezy mentioned the Athenaeum, and I was like, sick, I'm working there. So I went down there, and I think first shift was room service. Imagine me doing room service. I was I'm knocking on people's doors, obviously just filling up their fridges. That was just a mad experience in itself. You just so weird. And then second shift I was doing there was like a breakfast shift, where obviously you're just serving breakfast and that. But I had no one told me how to do this, and I think I was just I'm very casual about stuff. And this is the Athenaeum, it's like a 5-star bougie restaurant, and I was serving tea incorrectly, not pouring it for people, just putting it on the table. And some lady goes to me, she's like, oh, you're not working here again. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I got a call saying I'm banned. So that was that. And then after that, I worked on the railways whilst also working at a gym. The gym was such a sick job. Literally just used to roll up, sit at reception, go on the computer and just say hello to people that come in. And then...
But talk about the time when you ended up somewhere, you didn't get off the train.
Where was this?
The train job, and you...
Oh, yeah. So when I was working on the railways, I was doing... at this point, I was luggage assistant. Imagine that, at Euston Station, I was luggage assistant. That was mad. So I just started off working there, just helping people with their bags and stuff. And the thing is, for anyone that gets a train, doors don't close at the time they're meant to depart. They'll always close a minute or 2 minutes early. And back then it was Virgin Trains. So Virgin Trains used to close 2 minutes before departure. So I'm helping people with their bags, just bare people in a carriage. It's just long. And obviously I didn't get off in time. Doors shut, and I ended up in, was it Macclesfield? What about you? What other jobs you had?
What age are you now?
I was 20, I don't know, 20,
So you're still at uni?
Yeah, still at uni.
Cool. So Sainsbury's really looked after me.
Yeah.
So I went to university in Buckinghamshire, High Wycombe. So whether I was in Gray's Inn or High Wycombe, I had a dual contract. So they were cool, if you want to go home for Christmas or Easter, just work at Gray's Inn one.
Yeah.
If you want to stay here. So it was brilliant, and it was just such a good job to have during uni, because I wanted to rebel. So before Sainsbury's, actually, to take it back, I was just no, Mum, I'm not going to Sainsbury's. Everyone in this house worked at Sainsbury's, I'm not doing it. So I rebelled and I wanted to work at Bluewater, because I just thought I would be really cool. So I worked at JD Sports in Bluewater. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare. And still to this day, nothing's changed in their management, it's still the same. And they really didn't care about education. So they were no, when you're 18, you need to stay till midnight. I was I've got school the next day. What? They just looked at me it looks like a you problem. I was just oh my gosh. So managed to get there. Mum was yeah, cool, well done, you tried it, get into Sainsbury's. And then, Sainsbury's really looked after me. Obviously, the little discount was really helpful with the food shop. And I feel the uni store was just run by students as well. So it was actually really sociable, and I really enjoyed it. And after that, so that was my time till uni. Then after uni, it was just that limbo period where you finish uni, you've graduated, you think you're going to be balling in the city, and I got really down about it because I just couldn't find a job. So luckily, Sainsbury's were just look, just work more hours until you get another job. So that kind of kept me going. But it was just so deflating. You just had this expectation. Anyway, out of conversation with one of my really good friends, she was no, before then. So went through that limbo period, and then managed to find a job at Gatwick Airport as a security officer, which was just so random but so good. And I really, really loved my time there. I felt like it was an extended 2 years of uni. Really liked the job. It was a bit just going round and round doing the same job. But the people there were absolutely fantastic. Still, my really, really good friends. Went on so many holidays. I'll scan a boarding pass and be oh, that sounds nice. And I did so much travelling. Mexico, Australia, loads of random places in Europe. So I had a really good time. Got all my travelling, my travel bug out of the way. So I did that. So that took me up until 2015. I think. Yeah, 2015. What did you do? You know the IT job?
Yeah, so what was I now? The gym and railways, and then I graduated uni, and then I got
Graduated with a...
I got a first in IT. Yeah, then I literally basically the story of my life is just winging stuff. So I applied for like a job in the city, doing basically as an analyst. Ended up getting an interview, went down there. They realised I was like a kid basically, but it doesn't matter. Like, done the second interview, called me and they were like, "Yeah, we can't offer you that job, but we'll offer you this job," which was like a step lower. And I'd done that, so I was working as an analyst up in the city, and on paper, like I was flying, but deep down, like I got so sad, like it really like messed with me, because I was like, this is not what I want to do. Like, is this me now? Like, I don't want to work in IT. I don't want to work in an office. I don't want to work. Like, I don't want to work here. Like, this is not cool. This is not fun. This is not how I saw my life panning out. So I got proper down, and I was like, yo, just switch it up. And then from there, I went back to the railways, and then this time they offered me a position as basically, like, I hate the job so much, but I was like a revenue protection officer. So I was at Donny at the stand, basically checking your tickets, making sure you had the right ticket, making sure you had a rail card, a valid one, at the barriers, and then like, it was cool, because to be fair, I just used to let everyone through. I just didn't want any drama, no ag. Like, if I saw like a young kid just like trying to get home, I was just like, yo, go through, it's not an issue. But there was people on the job that used to work in teams, right? People on the job that used to take their job so seriously. They used to love the ag with the people. And it was just like, it was too much drama. And I was like, what? I'm not even getting paid enough to have arguments with people over tickets. I don't care. Like, you jump on the train, I don't really care. So I used to, that was like, and then like, at the moment it was better than the IT job, because it wasn't so much like just sitting in an office. But then I was like, I don't want to have like arguments with people as my job. Like, that is so weird. Like, it's not who I am. And then I was like, yeah, nah, I'm cool. I was there for a little bit, and then after that, then I just bounced around from like, I was working in Sainsbury's, I was working in M&S, and then I got a job working in facilities. Sick. I had a sick manager, sick schedule, and then he really clued me up on like, sort of like, what is facilities management?
But wasn't it that job was so good that encouraged you to want to do your master's?
Yeah. And because of that job, I was like, I like this, but I want to know more about this. So then I done my master's over at Reading Uni in sustainable built environments, which was more like, it was like a mixture of engineering and construction, but focusing more on like sustainability principles. So that was interesting. And then off the back of that, I landed quite a good job. I don't know. I'm not going to say the firm's name, but very good company. Working in the city, like Fortune 500.
Your dream job, right?
Yeah.
It was your dream job in that
Dream
industry.
Job. But then you have to rewind. Like, since I met Sharon, I've like been dipping my toe in media. So like, I've been tagging along to bookings, like just having discussions with her, and just helping her out as and when I can. And then it got to the point where she could only do so much on her own, and it was like, It just makes sense. Like, I feel like everything, all the skills that I've developed, and just like general knowledge and like general principles and values, it just makes sense going from sort of the corporate city sort of environment into like a business that I love. It's fun, it's creative, it's different, there's so much potential is what I love. Like, we can take this as far as we want to take this. There's no boss, there's no one like talking. It's just you being fun, creative, and just using your initiative. So that's when I took the leap from going from full-time to full-time in this position here. And yeah, doing a career, and that's where I am at now.
Yeah, because like you said, I feel like because you've had so many like different jobs, each one is just giving you a skill that is like, because we will have us talk about something and you'll be talking about a skill you've learned from such a random job, and like, I don't think you can even really remember all the jobs you've had, because we'll go somewhere like, oh yeah, I did that, and I'm like, what? So just to finish off mine, after Gatwick Airport, in conversation with a really good friend of mine, she told me they were looking for a paralegal at law firm they worked, and at university I studied criminology with hope to become a police officer. After uni, I decided I didn't want to join the police, so it tied in really nicely with my degree at the time. Absolutely loved that place, that law firm. It was criminal law defence firm, and it was so interesting. Like, it was just so mad, like the people you speak to like day in, day out. That side, management were fantastic. Like, I finally had a boss who treated me like a person, not a number. He cared so much about like everything. Like, there was a time where I was going through grief and he just understood it and was literally just so supportive. And I know in a lot of firms that like friends and family members work for, like, they wouldn't have had that. It's literally like, okay, HR said you've got like 2 weeks off, come back. And it's like, they don't understand that everyone goes through so many different things in different ways and needs certain like longer periods or shorter periods for certain things, whereas he got that. So I've always just said, like, if we were to have a bigger team and I'm someone's manager, like, I'd want to replicate the management that he had for us, because you wanted to go to work every day. It didn't feel like, oh my God, I've got to go to work. So it was really hard to leave that job and make this leap, but just the intuition just told me like this is what I should be doing. So I'm glad that like I'm still in touch with them, and they're like, and that boss is just like incredibly proud as well. So that's my history. And although I didn't use my degree, I am so glad I did go to uni, and I'm so glad for the jobs that I did have, like Sainsbury's. I worked at the petrol station at Sainsbury's, and I'm so clued up. Forecourt, I know exactly what's going on. Airports, like, you know what it's like. I literally Jay does not have to think when we go through an airport. I'm literally there, I know what's going on. And each one just gave me life experience, and it's just so interesting. Like, anyone who's watching this who's like 18 deciding what to do at uni, just do something you enjoy, because very small percentage of people go on to do something in the degree they studied, right? Okay, so that's enough about work. Let's talk about what are you watching on Netflix?
Can I go for we first?
So Netflix, what are you watching at the moment?
I think you should go first.
Okay, so I am so committed. Whenever I find a series, like, I just can't stop thinking about it, and I just have to finish it, which is obviously really bad for Netflix. They're all like 8 series long. So I was watching Squid Games, so good, really, really liked it. Some bits I was getting a bit like, it's a bit staged, but obviously like everything is staged. But that was really, really cool, really, really liked it, and I'm glad they're like doing a second one. Crown, absolutely love The Crown, everything about it. The way the characters really look like the characters, the people in real life, the way it's filmed. Big fan of Diana. So like, I was really, really happy that was on. I'm really sad it's finished. I don't think they're going to be extending it as well, which is really sad. That was really good, finished that. And then I think my PB of like binging was Dubai. I can never say the words together. Dubai Bling. When I say it fast, it doesn't work. But like, it's just so juicy. It's just such an easy watch. Like, before I go to bed, when the only time I watch Netflix, so I just want it to be really easy. 2 nights? Finished it all? Caused an argument. Jay slept downstairs till 2 a.m. yesterday because I was watching it. So he's not very happy. But you happy I finished it?
Yeah, until the next season.
Till the next season.
Yeah.
So I don't think I watch very interesting things, really.
I'm not really watching anything on Netflix. I just tend to re-watch things that I've seen before. Anything sort of true crime.
You like the war, don't you?
Anything to do with World War II is quite interesting, like documentaries. Anything to do with history, really, I'm on it. Yeah, at the moment, there's nothing really springs to mind. Like, give me some suggestions, anything cool, I'll watch it. A recommendation, do you want to give any recommendations?
Survive thing.
You know, don't watch The Bible, please.
Yeah, but like sometimes, but do you know what it is? Like, obviously, I know it's really fake. Like, they're not doing that many parties and stuff like that. But I just like to see, like, because I've been really interested about going to Saudi, and like they went, and it was just so interesting to see like how Saudi looked. Obviously, they go to the most expensive places, but I like to see what it looks like, because I've just had this urge to go to Dubai as well. So I feel like that's why I'm watching it so much, just to see what it's like. Probably not the best perspective.
My recommendation is, it's quite old, I think, but it's either on Amazon, or you can just find it. I don't think it's on Netflix, maybe on Amazon, or you can just stream it somewhere else. It's called 4 Blocks. If you like Top Boy, if you like that type of filming, that type of storyline, definitely watch it. It's called 4 Blocks. It's about these like Lebanese gangsters in Berlin. It's just sick. Like, it's just, I think they've only done like 2 seasons, but it's just like the storyline and like how it's filmed, and it's these Donnies in their Adidas tracksuits, and they're speaking like Arabic mixed in with German. It's just like proper cool. That's where I learned the word yalla. Yalla. Do you know what that means? Yalla, Habibi.
You have said this to me like 100 times.
Yeah, I love that. It just means let's go. Yalla.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I recommend people to watch that, 4 Blocks, if you haven't seen it.
Cool. So wrap?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's episode 2, everybody. Like you said, thank you so much for support. All our, how many subscribers now we got?
I believe it's like 17.
17?
Yeah.
Guys, look at that.
Look at that.
We haven't even uploaded episode 2 already on 17 subscribers. Honestly, you lot are something else. This is incredible support. Hope it continues.
Yeah.
But no, thank you so much. We hope you like episode 2. We are just not really having much structure, just kind of talking about things that people have been asking. I might do a question box next time, so we actually see if people want to see.
I turned the comments on, because the last video, I thought I turned comments on, but I think like by default it turns them off. So hopefully comments should be on. So yeah, write whatever you want.
Yeah, but that sounds been a bit longer as well. But I hope you all liked it.
Right.
And then in the next one, so it would have moved into our new office space. We'll do an office tour. We would have done we wouldn't have done our first booking. First booking is on the 8th, which I'm really excited for, because it's going the way we want it to. So honestly, guys, manifest and be careful what you wish for, because we called it. And loads more virtual tours, which I can't wait to show you about. So it's a wrap from Arcshot. Thank you so much. Please do like, comment and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Would you like to say anything?
Arcshot for life.